I have prepared
This is great.
an intro for today's guest. So, after spending the past couple of days with this man,
Oh my goodness.
This is the best.
I know, I can now confirm with the utmost confidence that our suspicions over the last year and a half are true. Folks, we are in the presence of a living legend.
Yes.
Not only is he strikingly handsome, but he rocks the shorts and tucked in tea combo with such pizzazz
Yes.
that even Richard Simmons would be jealous. He's a man who possesses a rare talent of being able to both outdrink the entire table, yet still remain perfectly aware of the time and put himself to bed at the appropriate time. Most would call that an alcoholic.
Functioning though. Functioning.
He's a 401k fix-it guy, the brain behind IPS. Ladies and gentlemen, Will Hackler.
Brandon, if you had
stepped
it,
up.
insert Dumb and Dumber. You've totally redeemed yourself because Justin has come back in a big, big way.
Justin.
Well done.
Oh shit, I forgot one thing.
Oh,
Jason says hi.
all right, you know, throughout the audience, vote for Justin 0 to 10.
That was all
Rank him
Jason,
on
by the way.
how he did with his intro. I personally give him a 10. Well done. I think to set it off, what I'd like to do is just get right into Wheel of Ice. Let's spin it.
Oh my god.
See this? Let's spin the Wheel of Ice. Start off fun, then we'll dive into some 401k subjects.
Safe. Wait, who's Will with?
Oh, yeah,
Pick a teammate.
pick a Retireholic to be lined up with on the wheel.
Brandon.
He's on
Okay.
there.
He's on there.
With me.
By the way, the producer's probably more hungover than anyone, so I got that wrong. I just looked over at him behind his board and bloodshot eyes and searching for the. Here comes the wheel.
Thank God.
Chad.
You got who has to speak right
Okay, very good. Very
You guys
good.
do
Very
know I have
good.
a session in 2 hours.
It's a legit wheel.
All right, well, Chad does that
told.
before
That
his
just proves that it
speaking
works.
presentation here in a bit. I don't typically do this.
Froze.
Oh no!
Oh, you got
Yes.
the pros?
You got the froze maker too. Yeah. Where's the cup for that?
No,
We'll pull that
yeah,
off.
he was already going.
No.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
someone's
no.
drinking some makers. Okay,
Oh, God,
I don't
not
typically
me.
do this, but I think this is smart for today's conversation. I want to ask you about your firm, the name of the firm, when it started, number of clients, and give us a
Can we
vibe.
just say that the word firm is stupid and we shouldn't use that?
Save it for a later game.
Practice.
So help everyone
Business.
understand. You're a producing TPA. Tell us about the size of the
Bing,
shop.
bing, 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 bing,
Oh
bing.
shit!
Oh, you said.
I gotta be really.
Let's hit more once.
Justin did.
Oh, no,
It wasn't going yet.
All right, well, come on.
So my whole firm story
Oh.
starts with my father. He started 2 weeks after the Employees Retirement Income Security Act of
Nice.
1974 was brought in.
Wow.
For it. He started at an insurance company doing that, then went into practice. That's
You're
what
gonna
you
use them
want.
all.
With a large insurance producer for it, running the third-party administration firm. Wow, this is gonna be really hard.
Good so far.
And did that for a few years. Got tired of listening to my mother complain about being away from the family. One of the many reasons they're divorced. Moved
Let's
back
get
up to
deep.
Massachusetts, hung out his own shingle for it. And then 26 years ago, he suckered me into the family business.
Okay.
Suckered.
Give us a
So-
taste of like how many clients,
So we have roughly 450 plans that we're running right now.
and you're the advisor on how many of those.
And we're on the advisor on about 250 of those.
So for everyone listening in, I think to me this is the most exciting part. Will services 250 plans as an advisor, which to me seems like a pretty big task.
Yeah.
And so we'll learn how you do that as we go through the show. Size of clients, like how many employees and assets? Typically, the average.
Yeah, so we average a little bit over $1 million per plan for it. Probably, we average in that, 40 to 45 participants per plan.
Chad, if anyone out there doesn't know, what is your definition of a producing third-party administrator?
A compliance administrator that also is the advisor and is bringing in most of the business with them being the advisor and the compliance administrator.
Okay. And you consider yourself to be that?
Yeah, because, so we are the retirement plan specialist for integrated partners. Good, I stayed off of that acronym too.
Yeah,
Thank you,
very
Paul.
nice.
With that, you'll appreciate that. And there's 160 financial planners throughout the country, and we help them manage their retirement plan business for them.
Yeah, so it's kind of
So-
unique in a way. I can't say that you don't work with advisors and help advisors, because you do in a unique type of way.
So how does that relationship, like with the other advisors, go? Is it sometimes rocky at times? Are they sometimes hesitant to work with you because of that, in fear, or
No.
is that not a
So
thing?
luckily, so I have the endorsement from the management team, the executive team, and integrated partners for that. They endorse me to all these advisors for it.
You're part of the family. You're,
Part of the family, and some of them have literally came over. Have said this to me because they want to work with me. So they've actually come to the firm because it's like they have plans that they're dealing. They don't know how to manage them. They still want to be part of the family. Still have them on the books, right? So we share in that compensation, share in that revenue for it, and we help them manage it. My team helps them manage their plans.
Do you bring on business as a compliance administrator that you're not the advisor on, right? Because you're the advisor on 250 of your 450.
well, in this group, sort of, kind of.
Right.
Not really. So the reason that other group exists is because we acquired a firm for it.
So I wanted to
You
back
had a
up
different
Justin's question in that.
repercussion
Will does not solicit business from advisors outside of that little group you're
Correct.
talking about.
Yep.
Got it.
So he
Stay
doesn't really
in
have
our
that
effort.
issue
Okay.
of, oh, I'm not
That
going to
makes
work
sense
with you because you're a competitor.
Right.
You don't call on those people.
I don't call on them for it. There are some that are friends of mine that come to me, for that piece of it. So we have some that are not in the family, as you would call it. But
Interesting.
the majority of them are in the family.
As a non-producing TPA,
Ding, ding,
yes,
ding.
yes. I could see how there could be some advantages to that. Do you feel like, as a producing TPA, because
Ding, ding, ding.
you get to be
Just
the
hold it in your
advisor and the third-party administrator at the same time, that creates some advantages for you, some advantage for your clients?
Yeah, I think it's a lot because, you talked about it in your session the other day about the data and the information. We have
Right,
a ton of data.
right.
We have a ton of the information. Those participants will call our office. We can handle 90% of that stuff because we have all that information for it. We have licensed people on our team that can answer those education questions. Obviously, we have the compliance administrators that can, answer the technical questions for it.
Yeah, it's one
So,
shop, a more cohesive kind of solution.
That's how. So my father built the practice on the fact that he saw a lot of advisors not doing it right because they didn't know enough about it. And he said, I could build this little value proposition of you make one phone call, that employer makes one phone call, and we have those answers.
That's
for
so
them.
funny. I think most people know my father started our firm in 1975. And so here's your dad and my dad. They kind of took two different paths, because I think the downside to your model is that is sales, is distribution, right? Like, we work with hundreds of advisors that are out there knocking on doors and bringing new business. It's got to be harder for you, especially if you didn't have this relationship with
Well,
this other
that's the
firm,
thing.
to
That's
bring on new
unique.
business. So my dad decided, geez, even though I think he had the same frustrations with the advisors, and I would be the truth, sorry, back in the day. But he said, but wow, they're going to sell for us and do a lot of business. So he went this way, your dad went this way.
Yep.
Different ways to do it.
To Justin's question earlier, the relationship with these advisors, are they still involved post bringing you in?
Sometimes there's different arrangements. Some of them really like to be involved. Others just say, please handle it for me. Call me if you need anything for it.
I was curious if he has some of the same feelings your dad did back then in terms of how people are servicing, but it sounds like you're the one servicing all 250 of these plans. And so you don't have those similar frustrations because you're involved
Yeah.
in it all.
Yep.
Fair enough. You didn't let the audience know how many employees at yours?
19.
19 employees. Okay, let's dig into Hackler and the business model and how you're able to service these. When I say 250, he's got 450, but I want to focus on the 250 where you're the advisor as well as a third-party administrator. Tools. What do you use for funds to screen your funds and all, for your fiduciary review meetings?
So I get to do my presentation from yesterday again?
Is that what you did?
Oh, we didn't show
I didn't go to
up.
that. So.
I went to that. It would have been wonderful.
Was there anybody there?
For it. I had a full room, JD.
Oh, okay.
It was 6 seats, so
It
it was a small room.
It was 10. You guys probably weren't out of bed yet.
What do you use?
So we use Redtail as our CRM system.
Boom.
Oh,
Yes, client.
Oh, yes, you get the
Buddy.
malort.
Client relation management. What is it? I don't.
Yeah, just wait.
Oh
it
my
gets
God.
worse. It gets worse.
Have you ever had Malort?
no.
It gets
Oh,
worse.
it's bad.
Just sit on it for a second.
It's so bad.
Oh my God.
Are
that's
you
so
are
bad.
you a RPIG guy, a Morningstar guy? Damn it! You build your. How do you find, select, monitor, replace funds?
So how do I get out of this acronym?
It's not. We've
The
determined
software
it's
that
not.
we use?
It's not an acronym.
Red
Well,
tail is
not an
not.
actor.
Red tail is not.
It's not. Say it.
FI360?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not.
no.
We've had them on and
Good,
confirmed
because I
that
wanna
that's
keep
not.
that glass
You
as
don't
far
want
away
it.
from
You don't
me.
want that Malort, do you?
God, it's really bad.
That's why it's a penalty.
Use
So
FI360
we use FI360 for that.
for those 250 plans.
Yep.
A lot of work. So are you sitting down and dealing with FI360 and the interface and putting in the funds? Is that you, or have you delegated to someone else?
Yeah. So I have a team member that does that.
Fancy
That's
pants.
his entire job.
That's
No.
all he does.
Do you
No.
think
it's not
he
true.
does anything?
He seems like a guy
I
that's
think he
good at
does.
delegating.
So yes, so he runs all the
Reports,
FI360
prep for the meetings.
plan advice manager, for it. So he puts that together every quarter for it. Those get dumped into the vault, and then we put it on our drive in our meeting folder for it.
Do you when you go visit these clients, do you use some type of an agenda, or do you hand out an agenda?
Yeah, so we have a running agenda that my team does.
They create it for you.
They create it for
So
me.
it's all there for you.
So they put it in there.
You just have a time and a day, and you go. You'll maybe
Yep.
review it a
and
little
I have
bit.
someone that schedules it for me and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. Okay, this
So
is
I don't,
good.
No,
Yeah,
I
no.
do none
Damn.
of that.
250
Yes.
clients
Yep.
in that $1 million range, give or take. You can't do 4 quarterly review meetings a year. So
No.
what are you doing?
We just do semi-annual for it.
Twice a year.
We've used to do some quarterlies, years ago. We just felt it was too much. There wasn't enough different stuff to talk about each quarter
Sure.
for it.
I get that.
So our model is we do one in the first quarter, discuss the year-end results for it, and we also, as part of the agenda, that's where we do our testing stuff too. So we talk about the testing and everything. At the same time, we're talking about the demographics of the group, the fund scoring.
I think that's a good takeaway. Because you're a producing third-party administrator,
Yes.
and you do that Q1 fiduciary review meeting, you're bringing in testing, you're bringing in all the third-party administrator stuff, which is
Yep.
valuable. I don't know if a lot of advisors are doing that.
That's what I was just going to say. I don't think in our suite, I don't think I have any that are pulling the testing work and having those discussions.
So-
Now, don't get me wrong. Don't walk in and talk about the actual testing itself, but give them a feel for the functionality of the plan.
You're giving them participation rates. You're
Which
letting
the
them know.
advisors are doing that.
You may even let them know,
They're
hey,
grabbing it from the record keeper.
you got your census in on time, or you were late and we could pick it up next year, or the census was wrong and we had to redo this or that. I mean, it's all kinds of functional things you might discuss that.
And deeper in conversations about stretching the match. Like you have the skill
Right, 'cause
set
we can
that,
say,
that
yes.
others aren't having that discussion.
So the Chad nugget for the day is if you're working with a third-party
Nuggets.
administrator or a bundled provider and you're the advisor, reach out to the compliance administrator for that type of information to add it to your meeting. I
Add
know
it to
some
your
of you do that, but many of you don't. So
Yep.
that's
Oh,
valuable.
great. Our account managers are going to love that.
yeah.
Since we're talking about mutual funds or investments, you've shared with me you're kind of passionate about this area a bit in terms of, is it important to move from the T-row fund to the whatever fund because it's doing better in performance or this or that? You have some issues with all that stuff. So how do you work with your clients in terms of selecting the funds and the importance of all that stuff?
I just, we remind them, and it's part of our onboarding that you and I have talked about for it. We remind them that the contribution rate is more important than the rest of this piece of it. So
How much they're putting in.
how much they're putting in matters so much more than what fund we're using for it. And interestingly, the presentation this morning from the American funds guy talking about these large fund menus. Do we have to have this many funds? Well, I actually take the opposite approach that he does. So he's saying we need to simplify this for it. I like to have the large fund menu because then it drives those participants that don't know what to do more to the target date fund, right? More to the.
You're trying to confuse them.
I'm not trying to confuse
You paralyze
them.
them so they take the easy trip.
So they go to the easy route.
Exactly. Let them take the easy route because that 80-90% of them, that's where
That's
they belong.
where they should be.
Well,
For it.
let's put a number to
So
that.
why not take that?
I think when you say a normal menu these days, it's like, 24 funds, 22
30.
funds. I think the old school mentality was you check all the boxes, the style boxes, right?
Yeah.
It's your small
Low
cap, your mid
international
cap, your large cap. You
exposure,
get it
some
in,
fixed income.
in large and mid and small, and you fill them
Schmid.
all up. And
Schmid.
some of them are Schmid.
Perfect timing.
Ooh, I like that as an asset
Schmid.
class. The Schmid. That's
The
genius. We're going to go with that. How do your clients react to that? Do you think that most advisors like to walk in and say, hey, we're replacing your 6 with a 10 because it makes them feel valuable, like they're doing something tangible? Is that the motivation behind it?
I don't think I understood your question because maybe I was laughing too much there.
I was saying we have an obsession as an industry with the fund metrics and replacing funds. And I think we do that because we
think-
want to show the client, look what I can do.
I think more than anything, what we spend time with those is doing is actually scrubbing them out and just saying, you know what, here's a poor scoring fund, no one's using it, let's just take it out of the menu for it. Like I think we actually do that.
Pruning.
Yeah, more than anything else, for it. Just because, again, we're directing them to those asset allocation funds, the target date series for it.
You're a huge
Judy,
target date fan for
Huge.
To chime in on that question, think about this logically. We just talked about Will hosting a fiduciary review, and he steps in there and he talks about some of the design or stretching out the match and participation rates. If we just stated that most advisors don't do that, then what are they doing in that fiduciary review? They're focusing in on the funds.
Right.
What did we teach them when they got their licensing? Focus in on the investments, right? That's what most of their education is.
Well, it's a simple,
That's
easy
why they're going to stay there.
Yep.
It's a fault of our industry, I think, at this point, that we put so much emphasis on that picking and choosing funds. Now, don't get me wrong. 10 years ago, big story, because it wasn't open architecture, it wasn't institutionalized investments. You had to pick a good provider, and you had to weed through the few funds that they had to come up with some good ones. I don't think that's the case anymore.
Real quick.
Yes.
So Steven asked in the chat, he said, do you use CFTs, managed accounts, and then what percentage of your plans auto-enroll, auto-escalate, and at what rate?
Great question.
Was there an acronym in
Do
Do
there
you
somewhere?
use any managed accounts?
Yeah,
Yes.
I feel like there was.
Not a whole lot of them, no.
You any collective investment trusts, and you need to drink.
Again,
Yeah.
not a whole lot of them.
Okay, and then do you use auto-enroll,
Yes.
and at what rate?
I'm big at the 6% number.
That's where we
And I
get.
bring out that study that shows, it actually moves up the adoption for it, or
The higher you go.
the opt-out rate. Yeah, what is it?
I haven't
the
seen
opt-out
this
rate
study.
doesn't change.
Yeah.
It actually
between
goes
3 and
up a
6.
little bit from 3 to
3 to
6,
6.
where people are more likely to just take it,
Interesting.
for that, for it. So I bring that piece out. So yeah, the 6, with a 2 for it. Good comment this morning about it. Why don't you tell them 3, right? And then they get all freaked out at 3, and you can back down to 2, which is like I think that's our sort of default is go 6 with 2 escalations.
Interesting.
Do you? When we were in DC last week, we heard comments from everybody saying the auto features are the third-party administrator's best friend. Do you see? You're working in this micro space, and I've always been adamant that most of the businesses can't accurately run their auto features. Are you seeing this in your book too? Clients failing.
Yeah, oh yeah, all the time for that stuff. And
Gotta get payroll integration.
exactly. Somebody talked about the middleware that we need in that, for that.
Yeah. People are building
I
it.
got to invest in that. Oh, we can't give advice out, right? So don't do that.
You can do anything you want.
But,
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
No, yeah, it's a really hard discussion for it. And what happens I think a lot of the conversations that we have is at that board level, owner level, we have the discussion how good the auto enroll is. They all buy in for it. And then I have to stop them and go, okay, let's go discuss this with your HR group.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go discuss this with your payroll
Oh,
group.
There's some
Yeah.
Because
nuts
if
and
they
bolts
can't
here,
figure it
some
out,
moving pieces.
right? Like, let's not do that. Or one thing that I did from a client that was really, I felt was great was the HR comment back
Boy,
to
that's
us.
2.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
He's
The award.
I can feel it, by the way. He is afraid of that penalty
Yeah.
drink.
As he
takes
should
big
be.
sips too.
You don't have to take Jania
Yeah.
Stout size sips.
Well, I have
Just
Jenny
little
here.
ones.
Oh my God, that stuff is so awful.
You said maybe you're doing 2 live meetings a year. That's still 500 meetings. I'm pretty good at math.
Yep.
Are you doing all those yourself?
No.
There we go.
Every
So-
time you ask him if he does-
Delegate.
Nope. Brittany does.
Britney Spears?
Brittany Santos, my office, licensed, for it. Great find for us. So happy to have her. She is awesome. She probably does 150, and I do 100.
Okay.
He does 200.
We've established that you've been
For 200.
pretty
yes.
good at delegation. No, but still,
It's a
that
good
you're
thing.
doing a lot of work still going to these meetings. Do you envision the Hackler of the future not going to those meetings? Will you get rid of all of that someday? Soon?
Yeah, I mean, we're certainly working on, building up the team, educating them, having, new people learn that stuff so that they can do more of it. I don't think I'm going to be out of it. I think I'd
Why?
like to
Because you
trim.
like it?
I like it, yeah. I like
Weirdo.
it. Oh, yeah, very weird.
Okay,
You
so
figured
you-
that out
I
already.
think most do, though. Most advisors like to be client facing.
I'm the worst example. I don't like doing anything. It sucks.
We figured that out too. I mean, I think I'd like to trim it probably down to 50 or 60 or something like that. I don't want to get out of it.
What else?
enjoy that
What
part.
else comes up in your day beyond these fiduciary review meetings, like tasks that you have to do? I mean, you run the company, or what are
Yep,
your
but,
to-dos? What
I-
stresses you out on a Monday morning?
Monday morning,
Or
Not yesterday.
that I'm like a couple days away from playing golf next.
so not a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot you're
I
gonna
mean,
play golf, right?
so, have a CFO for it.
Ding, ding, ding,
Okay.
ding, 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 ding.
So you don't have to worry a lot about the financial stuff. You got someone doing
Since we're
that.
out of the bottle, you can
Oh
just take
God, it doesn't get any better.
No, it does not.
No.
This stuff is so bad.
I need another one, Justin.
All right. You know what? I'm feeling.
No, beer.
Let's
No another beer to
I
wash this thing
know.
down.
Trying to get
let's
rid
take
of mine.
let's take a little fun break. And Brandon, if you could, let's play. He doesn't start the game until he hears the graphics, so or sees it.
No
Everyone's
more beer.
favorite game.
Not beer.
It's going. You just can't hear it.
Just gonna preface all of my comments right now with just really sitting here trying to focus on having a good conversation. Last
Mark
night
is
was not kind to me.
You're
hungover.
doing anything you can to not
Last
have
night
to
was
drink.
very kind.
And then JD, an hour and a half ago, was like, "You gotta do Lamer game." I'm like, "Okay." I got my notes
hey
down
Justin,
there.
you have to do this every show.
Well, Justin wanted the first. You know what? I'm gonna pass the first delegation. I've learned this from Will Hackler himself that you're supposed to delegate in life. So, Justin, please, if you will, first question comes from you.
Wow, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like this.
He's never
Feel
given
power.
away the lamer
Feel
game
very
power.
powerful. No.
Usually he yells if you try to ask.
All right, Lamer game.
We've already kind of gone
Walking
over it.
up to some guy in the middle of him karaokeing and turning it into a duet with yourself.
Oh, so game.
You would be.
So game. I would love that. I do that
Can
anyway.
I
You guys know that.
can I say that it's lame?
Because you did it?
The fact that I
this
did
is
it,
my
I'm
game. No, you can't.
ashamed. Okay, we can just move past
That
that,
guy,
one.
that guy spent $5 on that song
He
too,
did, and you ruined it.
Ruined.
But
You
he
went
was
up
doing
there.
it.
No,
No, you.
Oh.
he
you're
was
too
so
drunk
happy to
care.
have you up there.
Really?
I would say game because you get some
the
help,
only
man.
appropriate
Take some
answer is
pressure off.
game.
If I recall, and it's fuzzy, he wasn't very good,
No,
so I helped.
he was
him.
not.
Yeah.
Because
But neither were you.
But like two
But
wrongs
what
make
if
a
you
right.
went up to
you
like
know?
Aaron? What if you went up to Aaron? Could you go up to Aaron
No,
and chime
God,
in on
no.
that?
No.
You can't do that.
Shout out to
Aaron
Aaron
was just
Hall.
awesome.
last
Aaron
night,
Hall?
karaoke.
She would
crushed
just
it.
kill you.
Oh my gosh.
Check out Toter's Instagram for a clip of it.
Aaron Hall. Okay.
Yep.
All right, next question. It's kind of a weird one, but out of offices, your reply when you have to tell people you're not in the office.
Yep.
You all right?
I just burped back.
Oh.
Oh my God, it's really scary.
Why,
sorry.
Why does it make you do one for? Is it lame or game? That it's internal and external. Can I just write one?
Oh yeah. You do it out of
Will.
office for your own company people
Yeah.
and one for the.
I mean, you can just copy
So-
and paste it, Mark.
I'm game for that because I hate to send to my team. Oh God, they're going to be watching this.
Jason's
I
in
hate
the
to send
chat.
an email to my team and get the response of, "Oh, well, I'm on vacation until next Wednesday." Yeah, I know that.
Oh,
like
yeah,
I don't need that
Yeah.
another email coming back telling me that you're out.
Well, sometimes Mark
So
takes a
could
day off.
you
and
please
doesn't
just
tell
take
Chad.
like the internal piece of it out,
Yeah.
like for
See, sorry, I'm going to answer. I'm going to
Chad?
say I'm game because on the internal one, I tell the team, hey, I'm out, but if you need me, text me. I usually don't leave that on the external one. I let them know, hey, I'm out. Reach out to
like
Joss
me,
or
though,
Mark
where,
or
like the
Lance.
one that goes out to like clients and advisors is like this long?
No,
and
I
then
don't
the one
overword
the
it.
internal team says like
Did you?
I'm out.
it just literally says I'm out. Just
I'm
text
out.
me.
Did you see my one for this? It said
No.
I'm getting some nuggets in Nashville to bring some
jeez.
value back to your practice.
That's bad.
That's really bad.
That's bad.
Now
real
you
bad.
are
Justin?
lame.
Yeah, it's the best comment you've given me.
I didn't even set an out of office.
That's because you're never out.
I'm the
Do
same.
you know what that is?
I'm the same as Justin Lane.
I-
I haven't used one in years.
I mean, I have used one this year for it, but I didn't do it for like last week and this week.
I did. Slower to respond.
All
I'm
right.
drinking it.
Did you
Question
Noon.
3.
did you send
Hey,
me a message I didn't
They're
respond to?
done. Banter's
Oh, okay.
done.
Wow. Wait a minute, did he just wake up?
All right, lame or game. Going to a breakout session and then raising your hand to ask a question, but then taking over the entire
Why
room
is he
and
not
giving your
here?
own presentation
Why did he leave
while the
early?
people presenting up front look like this the whole time.
Where's Itza?
No, I'm not talking about him.
Do you want to know
He
where
did
it's
it in
in?
my session and he
Two?
did it in his.
All
he
right,
really?
well, the question is
Oh,
lame
No,
or
no,
game.
no, he didn't
Lame.
miss it.
All right.
Oh, okay. Lame.
Lame.
I'm actually surprised you didn't get going on that because I was like, Chad's, he gets antsy. He likes to talk too.
Lamer game. You've got to go to the bathroom really bad, so you're letting Chad take over the show.
I'm gonna run out in the middle of the conference.
Wait, but the bathroom's like 2 miles away. JD, move
Just
over
go,
to the
man.
seat. You should just take his seat.
No, you
Yeah.
should.
It's way more awkward to not move, like just to stay close.
JD tell you what we're talking about? Can you carry
No,
this on?
but yeah,
or-
of course we
Hold
can
on,
carry
I
it
got. Oh wait, but before I do that, you know what they say?
That was your whole lamer game.
You know what they say.
Three questions.
Three.
I always do 3.
Justin did one, so he only did 2.
He did one.
Well, lamer
form.
game. Okay, 3 questions.
Yeah, but Justin did one. Mark's got to have 3.
All right, guys.
What do we
hold on.
got, Mark?
Topic 3. What are you going to do about convergence? Do you care? Are you concerned? I'm sure
Well
he's
played,
like
Daniel.
that's a bullet
This
point.
is a very easy one because most of my plans already have a financial advisor
Right.
that's attached to it, so it's very easy for us. So I guess we already have the convergence.
So you're
I'm afraid to
obviously
burp.
you're
I'm
not
really
you're
afraid
not
of this burp.
concerned at all.
Jason
So-
said if you
but-
throw up, he's going to love it and never let it down.
Oh my God, this is not good.
Go deeper there, though, Will.
Wow.
Because are you guys doing financial planning? Are you doing financial
we are doing
wellness? Are you
none.
helping? So that's really the
doing none.
question.
So we're doing none, but again, most of our plans are tied to a financial advisor that's part of the family, for it. So if we get those leads that come in that direction for it, we're sending it back for it. And most of my plans, truthfully, are coming from that side of it, and we're designing the plan around what those needs are
Yeah, but let's
that are already been identified in.
session after session, you've heard conversations about, emergency planning, having an emergency account for what might be needed, but driving down your liabilities. You're not doing that. That advisor might be doing that for the C-suite, but is not doing that for the average
Exactly,
employee base.
yes.
And that's the convergence. So I was the one that gave JD that question because I was curious in the producing third-party administrator world, we tend to be horses with blinders on and focus solely on what we're doing for the plan and not necessarily on what we're talking about with convergence of wellness. And I would think that you're going to have to be fearful, and this is the session this afternoon, about the aggregators coming in that provide these advisors with all these tools, and it's the next wave of financial planning in the 401k space, and chewing into your 401k book.
One of your previous guests and I had a good conversation the other night over a couple of beverages, so take that as it may.
Good old like smoothie or something.
Holly Knight, she does a ton of that participant education, those participant one-on-one meetings for it. And we were talking about that void there's a void that's out there from, doing that education, for the employees. What was it? This screen that Brad had up with JD.
Monetizing the employees.
Monetize it, but talking about the small balance person for it. I think we do enough to certainly help out that group for it. And then your Michael Kitsis, the 1%, the high, net worth people, that's being taken care of, right? There's a void in the middle there.
There's a void everything below the 1%.
There's a lot we do, for the rank and file participants in there for it, that a lot of it's enough. With the record keepers doing stuff, record keepers helping with that.
And you heard yesterday in the session that's a 4% take rate on it. So yes, we're offering a lot of things, but nobody's utilizing it. That's why we need the convergence.
Right. Let's go back to my discussion about our meetings. When we do our first quarter meetings and we're looking at the demographics of the group, we plan out the rest of the year for what's there for the education enrollment need that's there. And we're doing those meetings where we're saying, okay, listen, we can see that no one's doing these like mini plans, in there for it. And we're, using that opportunity. I feel good.
That was the first. Sorry, continue on. Didn't mean to interrupt. I feel like $1 million.
My stream of thought is gone. So, our take-up rates I believe our take-up rates are higher than that. I think they're
using record-keeping tools,
using
like
the record-keeping
financial
tools,
planning tools,
the
that they're
planning
putting
tools
in
that are in there, those base tools that are in there. I would bet ours are in the 15 to 20% range.
All right. He doesn't have fear of convergence because most of his plans also have a private wealth advisor, the person who brought him the opportunity, attached to the relationship.
And that means they're going to execute some kind of
They're executing with the C-suite,
wellness.
right? They're executing up top, but he's saying he's got good take rates on everybody below the C-suite.
No. I think the void's above that for it, right? It's in that middle emerging group.
Explain that to me then, because you gave it the $40,000 average account balance person was what was used in some of the sessions yesterday.
Yes.
You think that person is getting what they need from a financial education standpoint?
I do. Yes.
Oh my God, I disagree. So vivid. So
you mean across the board or within his client base?
Those individuals don't have access to a financial planner. Those are the ones that have built up debt. Those are the ones that are paying off high credit card interests. Those are the ones that they're not getting this guidance from us. We, as an industry, we have ignored them other than trying to get them in the plan with auto features.
But that's the goal of wellness and convergence is to get down there.
But you missed it. Will's point is we're really helping out the C-suite, and those people in the lower tiers are getting what they need from the record keeper.
Because it's not a lot, maybe.
It's not a lot that they need.
For it. But there's a void in the middle, is my belief.
I got that.
What do you think the most common topics are for those people in the middle? What is it that they need that we're not delivering on right now?
Now they've finally accumulated some money.
Right.
They're getting to a point where they need to do something a little bit more.
The middle's huge
a little more sophisticated.
There's important decisions they need to make now that they haven't had to make
make some wrong
before.
decisions, right? Because now this balance means something to them for it. And they might go more conservative because now they're like, okay, I've accumulated something, I'm not going to lose it now.
I think they've also gotten to the point where, simple things like they can buy the more expensive car, but maybe shouldn't, They've got some wealth And it's really important then for them to be responsible with it and prudent with it.
Yeah, you didn't have to get that real nice truck. You could have got the base version.
We're talking about this level. I'm up on this
Oh,
level.
okay.
For
I'm
me, it's
still
like
down
you
here,
just
so,
spend
yeah.
it. There's so much.
Daniela has a good point. The lower income, you do. The lower income employee will have a larger percentage of income replacement from Social Security.
True.
Your 75 to 150 employee, a year needs the most help.
Yeah,
The next
that's
question
good.
you ask put a bunch of acronyms in it.
See, again, that statement though to me is saying that we're still looking at their retirement needs. You're saying their replacement is coming heavily from Social Security, so they're
Great.
good. I'm talking about their
Day-to-day
current financial
choices.
needs
Class, like
and
nearly
being
empty.
able to drive down
Send-
debt in the areas that instead of buying that truck,
Strategically,
pay off that
not
credit
saying
card debt.
Yeah, the
so they can
financial
drink.
planning side of things, the
okay.
budgeting and
Don't
all
want
that kind
the
of jazz.
basic 101 that we learned in high school, but they don't teach anymore.
Chad, you spent some time with Hackler at the American Society of
Damn it.
Pension, whatever the fuck it is, conference, and you came home really excited about how he runs his business and
Yeah.
these things. One of the areas you were most excited about.
It's not beer.
And you, Chad, you and I argue about this all the time. Chad wants, when we bring on a new client, he feels like it's such a crucial moment to
Yep.
teach them all of their responsibilities, all the things they need to do, really kind of get them in the best position to succeed. I push back on you sometimes because I'm like, look, man, we're trying to provide a low-cost solution, trying to keep it simple and easy, and it's hard enough to get them to sit in on a 45-minute, 60-minute design call, let alone them follow up later and go, are you sure you know how to do everything and how do we help you? He does this. I say he can do it because he's also making advisor revenue too. You fall in love with this.
I
You
do.
think it's crucial to your success.
So important. I think it's so important in that onboarding process for it to train the client for what's going to happen, train them on their responsibilities, train them on the reasons we're doing this. It's such an opportunity in the beginning. You have their attention, right? Like they're coming to you for a reason. You have the attention of them to set the mindset for them. We are very deliberate in that. And that comes from a lot of years of mistakes.
I was going to say, what happens,
Great throw.
like, what is the benefit of that? Or I should say, what are the negatives when you don't teach them? Like, what they make mistakes, you got to fix the mistakes.
You don't care. What we're talking about.
Yes.
Just
before.
don't do
That's
anything.
what
You know,
employees
what-
again, they don't understand the importance of it. And
Yeah,
the whole
see.
conversation we have around the pooled employer plan of how it's going to,
Separate them
make that
more.
even worse.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on pooled employer plans right now.
Danielle's right there.
So
Like, what are the type of
you
things that
have-
happen?
So you have stepped out of doing a lot of things you don't want to do them. I've done a lot of things in my process because I don't want my people yelling at me like they always do.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Okay, they yell at me for why didn't you tell them this? Why didn't you do this up front?
Sure.
For it, and that's why we've developed this process so I don't get yelled at from my team.
Right, because things break.
What does it save you on the back end, though? I have to imagine it's less headache of people not getting their contributions in on time or messing up their match calculation.
Yeah, plans are run better that way. It just.
I've had clients, I'm ashamed to admit that like 8 months in, they call and they're like, hey, this isn't working. Like, we don't see any money at the record keeper. And I'm like, oh, so are you sending it from your payroll? And they're like, oh, I thought that was happening. I thought you guys were doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so
Yeah.
no one talked to them
this
about
is-
the steps. I'm like,
that's a
come
failure,
on,
right?
bro. Like, it's not going to get
That's
there
what I
by
was
magic.
just gonna say. So we silo well. Like, we work with a number of record keepers, and we believe that payroll training should be part of their process, and it usually is.
Yeah.
But the truth is, they teach them how to remit contributions, right?
At the record keeper.
At the record keeper, they teach them how to submit an ACH.
Every record keeper has like an installation conversion, has an installation conversion person. And I think this is like another Chad nugget is I think it's a thing now. I think the advisors feel like, oh, well, the record keeper's obviously like onboarding them. So they're going to teach them all these things. Sometimes the record keeper's thinking, oh, well, the third party administrator is going to teach them all these things. And everyone's kind of pointing at each other and no one teaches the client.
So we have a fabulous implementation team. They are awesome. Okay, and they make great relationships with the record keeper implementation teams. Like they get very personal with
Have
them
to work together.
because they spend so much time together for it. You know, the complaint I get from my team is, oh my God, this guy, like, he's not working there as the implementation. He got promoted and he's out.
Yeah.
And they're so angry about that. And I'm like,
They got to start over.
Got to start over. Got to train a new implementation person because they need to be trained on our process, right? You know, for it, how the way it is that we do things. You know, for
If you don't do that, it's just human nature. When you're in a cubicle and you work for this large record keeping firm and your job is to onboard clients, and your name's Tom, and you maybe have depression in life and you're sad. I don't know. You just want to get it done.
Sorry, Tom.
You just want to get it done. You know, you want to check another one off. And so if you can just go, all right, Mr. and Mrs. Client, we need your first name, your last name, your social, and your contribution amount. This is how you do it. You press the button, you send it in, and they're done. That will happen if you don't insert yourself.
95% of the time.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is the benefit of coming to things like this and being where we were last week, right?
Yeah.
You get to meet those people for it. You get to meet, you know, their bosses, you know, for it. And I make sure we reach out to those and say, hey, listen, we've got a bunch of plans with you that we're working on. You know, make that relationship for it. Go sing karaoke with them for it. Go have a couple beers with them for it.
Couple. That's
So-
what we call it, huh?
Just a couple.
And we're not
Which, by the
saying.
way, I'm owed a mug from last week. but-
Oh, yeah.
You
There's
are.
one with old beer in it you can have.
So,
Jeez.
What did you do?
You didn't drink out of your own mug yesterday, by the way. So
I
you
think
just
you
licked
will.
somebody's.
All right.
that smells just as bad as that.
Chad,
stuff
thoughts?
does.
My comment, my parting thought with that, and we've all, I'm sure you have too, been screaming this from the rooftops for years. That person in the conversion seat for those record keepers
Tom.
are taught Dark
Poor
Tom.
Tom.
Are
It's okay,
taught
Tom,
to
hang
make
in there.
this easy, quick, painless, and they don't understand what we've gone through up front to get the client to the point that they're at. So often we will chat about full payroll files being submitted, make sure that it matches exact. So then the record keeper can track eligibility and send out notices. But Tom doesn't really get motivated to do that. And so there are only a few record keepers that have spent the appropriate amount of time training Tom to say, talk to the client why they shouldn't just submit data for the 4 people participating, but they should give it for the 40 people that are
Or all
totally
kinds of-
employed there.
All kinds of variations.
Tracking, vesting, all those little things. We have a hole right now in this industry, in this payroll integration with record keeping.
Do
And
you-
it is a massive one.
Do you feel like there's clients though that feel like this is a pain in the butt, all your education, like you keep teaching me all this stuff? Because I feel like we have a lot of clients that just like, they just don't want to be bothered, man. It's like they want to put the plan in place and
And you know what?
leave me alone.
And go back to our first quarter meetings. In the first quarter, we talk about what we're going to do for the rest of the year for it, and that's their time to say, you know what, we're good. We don't need anything, you know, for it. Or, you know, and that's where I have to push back and go, listen, I can tell from the numbers your people need this, you know, for it.
I think that's an advantage though to being a producing third-party administrator is I can't really justify these live meetings and these things as a non-producing third-party administrator. And with fee compression and advisors reaching out to me wanting our fees to be lower, and these guys fucking coming to me like, hey, can we reduce our fees on this prospect? So I got to try to keep things streamlined and simple and quick. But because you'll end up making 4x my revenue, you can kind of be there and do those things.
Yeah, and I also put it, we're a premium service. I'm not going to be the cheapest. I don't want to be the cheapest for it. I know an old client of mine, it was a great little story for a landscaper, right? And he goes, if I quoted on a job and I get more than half, then I know I'm too cheap. I need to raise my prices for it. So it's like, some of that to me is like, okay, sometimes you just have to look at those numbers. How many plans are we getting? Are we getting them because we're the cheapest option
Well,
at this time?
that's the math,
Or is
right?
there some, you know, and I think we deserve a premium for what we do.
Well,
So
let's-
if I
let's-
doubled your guys' fee schedule, we could do some more of this service stuff. Are you down?
Yeah.
You liars.
So let's
Liars.
distinguish between one thing. Though.
Wait a minute,
You would
they
make more
just
money.
said yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna
Why
go.
don't you go with
We're gonna
that?
go further with that. We're gonna talk.
I mean,
about
you
that.
could put in
But-
another pool.
We got to do more.
Oh, that's my problem.
Rooftop
Here,
pool.
Will, let me make this clear, and I'm going to ask the question of JD. The comments that are made
Yes.
around Will sitting in a meeting and saying, "Here's what we're going to do for the rest of the year. Quarter 2 is going to be an education drip on financial wellness. Quarter 3 is going to be something on bank." Whose job is that? Who should be delivering that guidance?
The advisor.
Okay, Will is the advisor. We are not, as the third-party administrator.
Right.
But that's not happening on our plans. And it's not happening because the micro space is still being serviced by advisors
Everybody out
who
there,
don't do
clearly
it.
PDC is not the right place for you for it.
Yeah,
I'll
well,
break for that.
have some
You
allure.
No,
probably need a better.
I think Chad's being honest about the micro market, and Chad and I have had this.
The fact that people watch the show and still work with us is shocking.
That was a good one. I think. Oh, I lost my train of thought. I love that. If you didn't hear what Mark said,
He's trying to get my
Mark-
face with his neck.
Mark just said the fact that people watch this show and still want to do work with us is amazing. You're being honest about the micro market, and you and I have had this debate because I feel like if
We
you're
are bridging so many gaps.
if you're an advisor and you sell a $500,000 plan for 50 basis point trail, and you're making $2,500, and then your broker dealer's taking a 25% cut, so you're only making don't do the math on that, for $1,900 a year.
Get a new broker deal?
You're still making $1,900 a year. You made that agreement, you signed those contracts, and you have a job to do. And I think that we need to keep pushing on them that they'd have to do that job, because you're right. I can't go in there and do that. What I can
Right.
do is make sure
You're
that
not supposed to. That's what I'm trying to separate those lines.
we do our part of making sure
Very
that
well.
they get their census in, making sure that their census is actually real and accurate and fixed because of all the mistakes it comes in with. We make sure that all that compliance work's done, the testing, the documents are updated. They get their 5,500 in on time and accurately. Those are all the heavy lifting we're doing. The advisor's
That's
got to
our
pick
job.
up that other shit.
But and you may not know this about the insides of our business, Will. We spend a lot of time doing quite a bit of the work that the advisor would normally do. We do the RFPs. We often
Yeah.
In
do
the sales
investment
process.
analytics and the sales process. We support them in that. So we're usually the ones doing the presenting during that process. And so we are probably in many ways, as you mentioned earlier, creating the issue for ourselves.
You're part of the problem.
We're part of the problem because we're bridging that gap for what they should be doing.
You're
we're
propping
doing.
up two-plan Tony, two-plan Tanya, making them look good in a point of sale, and then all hell breaks loose after that. What we need to do, well, Lord,
He's
that's,
trying to turn his head away from the camera.
Malort. I think Malort will be the future penalty
I mean,
drink
come
of
on.
all shows.
Danielle
I
must
will-
have had something good going on. She just whacked that keyboard like 1,000 times.
She's managing this whole thing.
Oh, she is?
Great.
All right. good.
She's running the chat
Yeah,
bar.
She's running the chat.
I mean,
Solid,
She
son.
is awesome.
she's gonna get it again.
Why did you leave there? Now I have no one to call when I have problems.
Well, what we didn't talk about was sales from your company's perspective. We talked a lot about service. Are you responsible for all new business coming in?
Not now.
No.
Another
You
thing
found
is
someone new. So now Jason's involved to
Jason's
help.
involved, yes.
Are you gonna punch him when you get back?
Yeah, he's gonna be hurt.
Okay.
Next week.
So you delegated part of that. Are you still doing some of the
Oh, yeah, I'm
sales?
still doing a ton of it. yeah.
Okay. And why did you bring someone in to do that for you? Because you have growth
Very simple,
ideas?
because it was a math problem.
You're running out of.
I ran out of bandwidth. I couldn't do enough review meetings and sales meetings.
So you bring someone in, but you'll still do both as opposed to just, why not bring someone in and just be like, your sales, and I'm going to do review.
Yeah. So, now Jason oversees the sales team, for it. And I hope, the hope is that he's going to take on a lot of those and bring me in as needed for it. But he'll be doing more of them than I am.
So you might be
Well, that's
doing,
in
you might
part. You have such a
still
move
good
your way out of that.
Yeah.
channel of advisors bringing you business that he's not out there hunting as much as he is building those relationships, right?
Yeah. And he found that out in the first 8 weeks. He's like, oh my God, there's so much coming
It's just
in
coming
here for it. He goes, I thought I was going to do a lot of my own stuff. And
Well, that's a great kind of chat nugget to take away here is, and we've talked about this
All
with,
these nuggets.
we talked about this a lot in the past.
Got 20 piece today.
Great advice for advisors is strategic partners. I mean, you're probably listening to Mr. Hackler and getting really jealous.
But hold on. All the people watching that have seen your name pop up on chats for over a year now,
Yeah.
I don't know if they fully believe what's going on right now. They're like, this guy, he speaks eloquently. He knows what he's doing. He runs a successful business. We just thought you were a raging lunatic.
And
And
last night he was.
And I am a raging lunatic, man. Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Absolutely.
you're probably jealous about the inflow of new business that he has to deal with. But that's because he has, in a way, a strategic partner, right? You've got this alliance.
I've got a lot of strategic
People
partnerships.
out there in the world, you may not have
Can I
what
be
he
one?
has, but if you can find what types of firms can you partner with to get these types of relationships?
Well, especially
We're
what you've
not
got.
getting
CPAs are a
enough
great one.
West Coast
CPAs.
business.
Dang.
Oh,
we're just
yeah,
gonna be
me too.
strategic
Group
partners.
health
Always do
shops.
that.
Health shops that aren't doing any financial planning.
Payroll people.
That's not.
Payroll. Well,
You could find a good regional
Oh,
payroll. Okay, as an advisor,
Okay, what was that?
I said okay. As an advisor, you're not
Is that
getting
considered
much
an
back
accuracy?
from the
Yeah,
payroll
probably.
team. Regional, yes. National, no. I haven't.
Okay,
I have not found
let me-
great partners.
let me explain
great
something to you.
partners, but have not found them bringing.
I think our industry has failed in that area. I mean, 10 years
What?
ago, we were talking
You
about.
just keep saying this. The industry's failed. We've failed. This sucks. Like, what's wrong?
We're growing.
We always wanted to partner with payrolls, and
Oh, God.
we thought it would be a great back and forth of business, right? But I don't think we did that very well. But mind you, my understanding is that Guideline got to 10,000 plans in a really short period of time, mostly through their relationship with Gusto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I talked with the human interest guy today,
Have
that's
you taken
their
over one of their
strategy.
plans?
That's no
Oh, my
Guideline
God.
or
Yeah, guidelines.
no.
They have no information.
Yeah. Oh, really?
It's so bad.
They can't share anything. So
I'm not
they're
supposed to say
pulling
that.
it off, Chad. So
Okay.
maybe you need to reconsider that payroll channel because it's fueling some of these disruptors.
Yeah.
So they saw it as a channel. Okay, let's chat our champion this.
Hold on.
Yes,
Oh God.
you got to go bathroom.
Oh God.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
I'm nervous. Oh, we got golf visors.
Oh yeah. Well, because we're supposed to announce this, right?
What?
Oh, you guys are leaving me.
Hackler. What
JD.
does this
Oh,
do
yes,
for someone like me?
yes.
That helps.
What are we announcing?
Shade your eyes.
Not like
Still
anyone
burning
cares
top.
about this, but
Are we gonna announce this?
Our competition.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
so
yes.
Hackler is like a
Chad.
scratch golfer. So
I am not a scratch
he comes up to Chad at a conference and says, "Hey, how about we do a contest, my firm against your firm?"
Firm.
Yeah. And Chad agrees. So we're gonna have the battle of the third-party administrators, 4-on-4, at Pebble Beach. No, I don't know where it's gonna be.
I'm down.
We're
But-
gonna
so-
pick out a conference, and my sales team is gonna come play your sales team,
And
Okay.
we will wear
When are we doing
these,
this?
and you're going to wear.
but
this.
we're going to give you something to wear, and it is definitely going to be pants.
Okay, great. So now that you all know that there's gonna be some cheesy golf tournament that you don't care about, we told you.
We're gonna,
Chat our champion.
Yeah.
We could live stream
Market
it.
this.
This has nothing to do with yesterday, but it's Daniela.
Oh, okay. Daniela Moisesev. I think
The fact that she's
Number
Wait a minute.
six.
She just passed me.
she's the GOAT.
Well, so actually, hold on, just so you know this, I have one of the team working because we discussed this with Brandon yesterday. I wanted to know like how many chat bars and like the the scoreboard for it. So I actually have someone on my team going through all the video
Nice.
right now,
Yeah.
So now you know
I'm
you're going to be
paying
sitting
them.
at top.
paying them to figure out who all the chat bar champions. We're going to put a scoreboard together that we will be sharing with you.
That
For it.
that's how things should work organically, like that amongst the community.
So
I
if
like
she
that.
has 6.
Yeah.
She just beat
Well, I
my
have 6
5.
and a half because I tied on one also.
Yeah, but
But
then
you
you got
tied with
thrown
him.
out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got
You
thrown
get
out.
you get that done, and I guarantee you that Brandon
We'll
will
keep the
create
scoreboard
something
up.
phenomenal.
All right, we will have it over
both
to you.
digitally and hard copy.
Yeah. It won't
Yep,
be
we
this
got
week,
one
though.
nomination.
Oh yeah, that counts.
We're getting
Not
you
really.
a second one.
Okay, so great.
Hey, you should have been in there. Come on.
Hackler.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry about the Malort,
That is awesome.
but it is what it
Stuff.
is. And thanks to Wealth at Work.
Surprised.
Thanks to Nashville. Thanks to the karaoke bar. We apologize on Mark's behalf.
Beer.
It's been a fun episode. Thanks for tuning in out there. We are the Retireholics, changing the retirement plan industry one beer at a time.
One butterbeer.
Yummy.
Today.
Peace
No,
out.
I'm not having beer.
Thanks, buddy.
Mark, I'm ready for that 20 piece.